Good morning. I'm Egata Berman. I come from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. I present a paper from the research team at the 5th Asian Education Symposium 2020. The title of our paper is Factor Analysis of Supporting Air Conditioning Practicum Activity in Vocational Education. Because it is still a corona pandemic, so it will be done virtually. Thank you. Introduction. Vocational education prepares students to be able to work independently or fill jobs in the industrial world. In vocational education, the composition of practical learning is more dominant than theoretical learning. The first experience for students in learning, thinking, and solving problems can be obtained through practical activities. The development of student hands-on and minds-on can be supported by practical-based learning strategies. The implementation of air conditioning practicum in vocational education is carried out based on a learning program plan that has been prepared for one semester. All the activities are designed with actual conditions so that students can realize their knowledge with their real work after they graduate. Problem and purpose. However, there are several obstacles that cause practicum activities to be suboptimal, including a practicum instruction are generally recipes that students must do. Next, practicum activities are often not measured adequately and accurately. And then practicum equipment is often inadequately in terms of quantity of specification. Practicum activities require a long time, requires more expensive costs for providing practical tools and material. The unavailability of adequate laboratory facilities so that practicum activities cannot be carried out. Lack of supporting staff for practicum implementation, and lack of instructor ability to design and implement practicum. Based on this explanation, the study aims to find out the factors that support the activities of air conditioning practicum in vocational education. Method. The study uses a quantitative approach. The questionnaire was created using Google Form. A total of 31 statement items were arranged on a Likert scale with 5 answer choices. All statement items have represented 9 independent variables consisting of laboratories, practicum tools and material, lecturer or instructor, laboratory assistant or technician, laboratory regulation, practicum schedule, learning resources, practicum worksheets, and practicum evaluation tool. The population in this study were students of refrigeration and air conditioning study program at a vocational education institution in Bandung, Indonesia. Samples were selected as many as 54 students who had carried out the air conditioning practicum and filled out the questionnaire. All questionnaire data collected was then tabulated in Microsoft Excel to facilitate the subsequent data processing. The data is then tested for validity and reliability. If all data are valid and reliable, it is followed by a normality test. All data processing and statistical analysis uses the IBM statistic SPSS version 21.0. Result and discussion. Table of total variance explained shows the value of each variable analysis. In this study, there were 9 variable analyses. There are two types of analysis to explain a variant, namely initial eigenvalues and extraction sums of square loadings. In the output result above, there are two variations of factor which are 4.783 and 1.155 respectively. Furthermore, based on the total variance explained output table, There are two factors that can be formed from the nine variable analysis. Component matrix show the value of the correlation or relationship between each variable with the factor to be formed. To ensure which variable are included in which factor group, it can be determined by looking at the value of the largest correlation between variables and factor or component that are formed. Referring to the discussion above, the distribution of variable included in each factor form is factor 1, practicum evaluation tools, laboratories, practicum worksheet, learning resources, laboratory assistant, and tool and material. Factor 2, laboratory regulation, practicum schedule, and lecturer or instructor. Table of component transformation matrix shows that in component 1, the correlation value is 0.816, is larger from 0.5. And component 2, the correlation value is the same. Because the correlation of all components is higher from 0.5, the two-factor form can be concluded feasible to summarize the nine variable analysis. Conclusion. Research on factor analysis of supporting air conditioning practicum in vocational education has been carried out. Nine independent variables were identified at the beginning of the study as a source of support for the practicum, and after analyzing the data, they grouped into two new factors. Both of these factors have a correlation value greater than 0.5. So it can be concluded that it is appropriate to enclose the nine variable analysis. Variable practicum evaluation tool has the highest correlation. This shows that evaluating student performance during practicum activities is very important to be a reference for achieving competency and planning for practicum activities in the future. That's all my presentation. Thank you.